Hello everyone, so I'm back to cast more of my run through the Masters of Wood Elf tournament hosted by the Viking TW. And moving into the second round, which happens to be the semifinals, I matched up with a tournament veteran in the form of VM Crabling. And this is going to be a hard challenge. It's still best of 3, so me being the upper bracket, I had to go with Elves. And for my 2 bans, I picked Bretonia and Greenskins. So Crabling counterpicks me with Lizardman, which we've seen this matchup earlier against RTK Maker. And let's see how this one plays out then. So I went with a very, the exact same army that I had against Maker, whereas Crabling had a similar build, but with a few key differences, and we'll go over them once we enter the battle. So, as you can see, instead of Lord Mastermundi, he has a high Slan with Apotheosis, Hannah Glory, Tempest, the Bound Banishment, Shield of the Old Ones, Blood Statuette of Spite, the Cold-Blooded, Shield of Safri, and yeah. Also in his leadership core, he has 2 Skink Chiefs. These guys are super annoying. They have so much ammo, and yeah, you know, they could just poke at you throughout the entire game. Similar to RTK Maker, Crabling brought 4 units of Chameleon Skinks, which are just like standard, you know, in like almost all Lizardmen versus Elf matchups. You can see how effective they are in the previous game, so nothing new there. Also, 3 units of Skin Cohort with Javelins, I mentioned earlier. These guys, they do a lot of burst damage with their 120 models, all throwing Javelins. And instead of Saurus Warriors with just regular Saurus Warriors with shields, he brought 5 units of Saurus Warriors with spears. And these guys, they will hold much longer in the front line, but they won't do as much damage to my infantry, or at least as fast. So he's thinking of playing a more defensive build, just buying more time for the laser dinos to get more value. Speaking of which, he brought 2 of them, like RTK Maker. It's also important to note that he has the Legion of Chakwa, which is the ROR Saurus Spears, and they have an ability which increases missile resist. So that's also very, very important, and we'll see how he uses it. So we deployed on opposite side of the map, and me being the Wood Elves, I used the terrain, the forest here, to get in position. Ideally, it would have been nice for him or for me if he attacks me in the forest, but of course he doesn't need to. He has the range advantage. He has the Skink Skirmishers, and it's forcing me to approach him, which I had to. I mean, this is how matchups against Lizardmen is really typically played. You know, you have to go and compromise these laser dinos. I'm taking really massive shots on these Glade Guard. I lost 10 models here already. These Eternal Guard are taking good damage. It's not very, very good, but I do manage to get in range with the Bastiladon with Solar Engine. It is in front of his front line, but you can see he's using it just to, bait out some ammo, to do some tanking early on. He has the micro to pull them back, and is actually forcing my units to clump up here, so I have to reform my archer line. The Wild Riders here is in the forest. They get a good charge onto these Skin Cohort with Javelins. And you can see, unlike Maker, Crabling deployed in a very, loose formation, like wide. He didn't go with a standard front line. He went, kind of all over the place, which is very good because he's trying to kite me. I need to pull out of this engagement. This is really, really bad. Leaving the Wild Riders there. I'm doing good damage to the solar engine, but you know, it could take a lot of damage. It has, you know, 140 armor. Yeah, then he stacks all these, you know, missile resist buffs. You know, the Shield of Chakwa 44% missile resist plus the damage resist from the Shield of the Old Ones, and it's just, you know, just tanking so much damage and wasting a lot of ammo. I mean, 2 of my Glade Guards are actually already routing. This is not very good. I managed to get a sandwich on these Source Spears, so that's nice. But I couldn't take a very clean frontline engagement like I did against RTK Maker. You know, things are just all over the place. I do manage to route a lot of his Skink Cohort Javelins, but I'm still taking damage, man. Even though I'm trying to focus, like, you know, all these annoying skirmishers down, you know, it's still very atrocious. Let's take a pause and just analyze the battle here. So far, I've lost about 145 troops, and Crabling has lost about 200 or so troops. So I'm actually doing pretty well. I mean, the balance of power is not really in my favor. It's not really in my favor. And it's probably because I took a lot of damage on my like expensive units, or these Wild Riders. Considering so far, you know, I'm actually doing decent damage to his Bastildon as well. I mean, they're not completely down, but they've taken a lot of damage. And my Glade Guard is in a lot worse shape compared to my previous Wood Elf versus LZM battle, but they're still active. And me cleaning up this, these peripheral engagements really, you know, allow them to stabilize and start, you know, unleashing their full firepower. But let's see what happens. The front line, it is a bit of a grind because these are all both spear units, and it's just really holding my units back from pushing deeper. I mean, I did really try to extend with my Ancient Treeman, trying to get on top of the Bastildon Solar Engine and just, you know, keep it from firing. But the Legion of Chakwa is poking him in the back, which is not very good. I have the War Dancers with their Woven Mist popped, and I'm about to try and compromise the Bastildon Solar Engine. But at this point, I'm actually pretty happy with my positioning. I mean, you know, these units are all about to rout. I'm about to take out this unit of Saurus Spears. Yes, these two units of Saurus Spears are holding up my main engagement, but I think 3 units of Eternal Guard should win. The only problem is that my archers right now, you know, they're about to run out of room to move forward because, I mean, these spears, man, they're just holding for so long. And maybe a good idea is for me to rear charge them and try and break them, or maybe even use my archers to actually focus down these Saurus Spears like I did in the previous battle. Because by opening up holes, remember, in the LZM front line, I was able to then push, you know, with support. Because right now, this Ancient Treeman, he's without support. He's taking a lot of damage, getting poked from the Legion of Chakwa in the back. It's not very pleasant. He is very tanky, but it's only a matter of time, right? I have the Azrai War Dancers. This is really nice. Me getting on top of the Bastildon Solar Engine. The Wild Riders finished cleaning up the Skinks, so they're coming back into the main engagement. So I'm still feeling pretty okay. I needed to get my my archers, you know, around the flanks, so I could actually support, because, I mean, the Slann is taking a lot of damage, but I'm not finishing any of these units off. Another Shield of the Old One, you know, just, I mean, he's not taking any missile fire from me right now, but it's still, you know, I believe, yeah, it still gives leadership just to make sure he doesn't route off the map. I mean, this side engagement, yes, it's important that I want this, but like, this is not where the important stuff is. The important stuff for the Lisbon are all still here, and they still need to be compromised. So I sent the one unit of Wild Riders back from this side. I have the Wild Riders coming back from this side, so I'm just regrouping. The Dryads here are not having a good time against these spears, unfortunately. But yeah, I also needed to have these Dryads back in the main fight. I mean, they cleaned up that unit of Sword Spears, but you know, they needed to help in this main fight. And this is something that just caught me completely by surprise. You know, the banishment, man, it just completely wrecks this unit of Azrai Spear War Dancers, and this is really bad because I felt like I was still in a decent position. Because as long as I was able to put pressure on these two Bastillon Solar Engine and prevent them from using up the rest of their ammo, I would be in a pretty decent position once, you know, I cleaned up the front line and had the archers back, you know, to support. But, you know, without the Azrai Spears, I mean, this is why, like, infantry in general is just not very good in this game. Because they're just so susceptible, like especially War Dancers, they're so susceptible to a lot of stuff. You know, all these javelins and missile fire, and then like the banishment just does so much damage to infantry in general. It's just yeah, it's really unfortunate that happened. I should have dodged, but I was just a little bit too late. So the Wild Riders come in, but you know, they're all really tattered right now. They've done good damage, you know, 200 kills on this one. But the Tree Man, he's taking a lot of damage, and I'm pulling him back. He just doesn't have support. You can see I managed to clean up the unit of Saurus Spears, the 2 units of Saurus Spears, but it was just taking way too long, and I was moving my my Glade Guard around the flanks. They're running a bit low on ammo, but as long as I, you know, can still take out these Bastillon Solar Engine, like his important stuff, also very low. But yeah, I mean, the Solar Engine shot this Solar Engine, as you just saw. But they don't apply the debuffs, which, I mean, it's just annoying. I mean, with the poison change. But yeah, I mean, this is not looking good though, because my Ancient Treeman is routing now. All my units are really battered. I mean, I could have maybe thrown down a couple of Earthblood if he was still active. But, you know, with him going down or like running, it's causing leadership issues across the board. And my units, man, they're just not holding up well now. I mean, these 2 units of Dryads, man, they needed to be in the main fight. If they were still there, maybe I still would have had a chance. Like, I think Viking Cat was pointing that out on stream. But I was just so focused on the main engagement. This unit of Bastillon is getting caught up, but the terror route on the Eternal Guard means they weren't able to do a lot of damage. I mean, Dryads just won't be able to cut it. And right now it's just a slow grind that I really don't have much of an answer to. I mean, the Ancient Tree Man, I needed him to come back, but he just keep on routing. He comes back right now. I pop Foe Seeker. I think he routes immediately, which is just like some of the stupidest thing in this game. I don't know. I should have maybe dropped in Earthblood, but I mean, right now it's just a mass exodus. I do have this Bastillon Solar Engine and Wavering. I do still have some stuff regrouping on the Proliferes, but he's doing a good job just, you know, pursuing, not letting stuff regroup. If these 2 Dryads, man, they were in the fight, they could have, you know, helped me at least, you know, buy me some time to allow these units to regroup. The Ancient Tree Man, I think he did come back. I was microing him away, as you can see. I mean, but this Skink Skirmisher, man, he's on the pursuit to take out this this Ancient Tree Man. But he only has, you know, 736 HP. He's wavering. Yeah, shielded old ones. not much more to say. It's just it's just a cleanup for the Lizardmen now. It was a still close game, I would say. Um, at some point, I was still feeling pretty okay-ish, but I think it mainly had to do with me losing the Azurite Spear word answers. Like, that was a huge loss, and me not cleaning up the front line fast enough. You can see here, these Saurus did much better than the Saurus warriors of RTK Maker. And part of it is that I didn't get the Dryads to countercharge because he didn't deploy in a traditional, frontline engagement, right? He was all over the place, so it was harder for me to set that up. Yeah. Also, Legion of Chakra, super important here. The double resistance buff on the solar engine just made it super hard to focus it down. You see, these solar engines, they pay for themselves, and they were still, a nuisance in the late game because they could cycle charge and terror out my infantry, which at that point, was very low, didn't have the good as high leadership, susceptible to the terror routes. I tried to do better against the chameleon skinks here, but they still got their value, except for this one. And yeah, you see, I had a lot more kills on my wild riders, which more or less pay for themselves in this battle, but they still wasn't able to, I guess, mitigate the skirmish pressure. These two javelins I shut down really hard, but yeah, the ancient tree man just went in unsupported. Maybe he should have tried to terror out the front line. But yeah, it was a good game. I still had a lot of troops, as you see in the in the terms of the the army trading, but the leadership being so low, and my units being so battered, there's just no way they wouldn't get terror routed. So good games. So once again, I'm 1-0 down. So it's Crabling's turn to pick Wood Elves, and he banned Dwarfs and another faction. I can't remember the other faction, but he left over Bretonia. So, I mean, this is the obvious counter pick in my opinion. So I went Bretonia, and so we'll see how this plays out. I played a pretty meta build. As you can see, the Fey Enchantress, she's just so good. Luen can work as well here. I mean, I think Luen has more merit nowadays because Zotes are a thing, and Luen can beat down trees, for example, whereas the Paladins that usually bring against Wood Elves, they're not, as good. They're still very good against most other stuff, and if there's no trees, if there's no Durthu, they'll do well. They both have the Charm Shield, which gives them the 22% damage resist, and one of them has Guardian, I believe. The other does not. So, Fey Enchantress, Earthblood, Shield of Thorns, Arcane Conduit, Blessing of the Legion, all the good stuff. No Chalice, though. And for the rest of my army, I have the 3 units of Peasant Bowmen, I believe just 1 Pox Arrow, and 4 units of Peasant Mobs. And these guys, all they're there to do is to tie down the Eternal Guards, because the Wood Elves, they're Eternal Guards, they want to be killing the Cav. But if they're tied down, by the Peasant Mobs, it's not worth their time, right? And then your Cav can be free to do other stuff. I do have 2 units of Spearmen at Arms on the flanks, and 2 units of just Men at Arms. None of them have shields because I just want to cut cost and spend more on my cavalry, which I brought quite a bit of. I have Knight Errant, Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis RR Knight Errant. These guys are nice because they have the Frenzy and Silver Shields. And on my right hand, this is the main hitting power. You know, you have the Grail Knights hidden in the trees, and the Knights of the Lion Hearted. So these two guys, their main job is to just kill the Wild Riders, because once you kill the Wild Riders, it's hard for them to defend the Way Watchers, and your Knight Errants can clean them up. And also over here, our Vanguarded, we do have the Royal Pegasus Knights. These guys are very good. I mean, I don't see a lot of Bretonnia player use them, but you know, against Wood Elves nowadays, when they could air cheese you and do all these other, you know, nasty stuff in the air, you know, with the Sisters and Hawk Riders, it's good to have at least one unit of, you know, air presence. And Bretonnia will beat, you know, Wood Elves in the air, especially if they bring something like Lore of Heavens, but I didn't. 2 Paladins, of course, is also very good. But yeah, let's see. For Crabling, he went for a very cheeky build. So he went with the King and Queen of the Woods, Orion and Ariel. So Orion has only his Hawk's Talon. He doesn't have the Hounds of Gibson or the Hounds of Orion. And he has the Cloak of Isha. No Horn of Wild Hunt because he doesn't have many cav units, which makes sense. And yeah, so you know, he also has Orion's wife, Ariel. So she has Greater Arcane Conduit, Tempest, Apotheosis, Soul Stealer, Acorn of the Oak of Aegis, and the Berry Wine for the free, well, not free, but you know, you pay 100 to get a regrowth, basically. So for also in the Vanguard, he has, and these guys are hidden, so I couldn't see them. And you're about to see what he's about to do. So he has 2 units of Way Watchers, one of them being the Hawk Riders of Drakira. These guys are okay. I mean, they do have the Smoke Bomb, which helps them kite a bit better against the Knights, and also they have the Scourge effect, which allows you to route units really fast. But they're very expensive at 1,500, and you don't really see them off too often, in my opinion. He has 2 units of Wild Riders, one of them being the Wild Hunters of Kurnos. These guys are really nice, magic damage, anti-large. And they're just mainly there just to screen and protect for the Way Watchers. Then for his front line, he has 3 units of Eternal Guard, 2 units of Dryads. And yeah, so let's see how this pans out. I wanted to do a bit of scouting early on with the Paladins, but I couldn't see Ariel, and he gets the Tempest down. And you know, them being slowed and taking damage, he allows the Way Watchers to basically route one immediately off the bat. I try my best to do quite a bit of dodging, which I managed to do, but man, this was bad. I mean, I popped the resistance and also Shield of Thorns just to give them extra physical resistance, and they managed to live, which is important. So that was a bit of a close call, but it did drain a lot of magic from Ariel. I mean, she does have the Greater Arcane Conduit, so it's not as big of a deal. And it baited out some ammo from the Way Watchers. I mean, at least I know what's going on. So, yeah, playing as Bretonnia against Wood Elves, you have to approach this very cautiously. You know, that was not a good trade, but, like, it's still doable. I mean, these Paladins being alive, they'll still, like, they need to be alive to kill Orion in the late game, for sure, right? So it is important that they stay healthy. So I popped out an Earthblood to heal them up. And I'm just moving my infantry forward. I don't want my cavalry getting shot by these Way Watchers. So he gets a charge on my Spearman, but I brace, as you can see. And these guys, they take it like a champ. I try to get a counter charge with the Grail Knights, but pulls away the Wild Riders, being excellently microed, and gets a few shots into my Grail Knights, which is painful. I send in Knights of the Lionhearted, but they were overextending, so I pulled them back. And it's nice because I managed to dodge the Soul Stealer just in time. The Soul Stealer hits my Paladin again, and they're taking a lot of damage. But I have their... No, actually I don't. They have Earth Blood. But hopefully they'll get their shields up in a minute. They're taking quite a bit of damage. My Cav are getting focus fired, which is really not good. But you know, you have to take this slow, as Wood Elves. I try to get a Shield of Thorns down, but it only hits this one unit of Grail Knights, and that's not good. I mean, I wanted to hit a lot more than that, but you know, with Shield of Thorns, they managed to get on top of the Wild Hunters of Kurnus, and they're just going to destroy them. The physical resistance really helped against the missile fire. I'm sending in the Pegasus Knights. They were a bit out of position, but you know, I managed to dodge most of the Hawk's Talon, but my units are getting stuck on these spears, and I needed to force. Oh my god, that just did so much damage. Did you see that? Holy shit! The Defender's Fleur-Lee just gets wrecked, and I have been in a pretty precarious situation, but then I finally managed to get my Grail Knights and my Royal Pegasus Knights into the fray, and they're going to destroy this unit of Wild Hunters of Kurnus. And with that, it should open the way for me to shut down these Way Watchers. The front line, I'm having a bit of a tough time. I am getting blobbed up, but it is, you know, as long as I shut down these Way Watchers, my Peasant Bowman will have free reign just to shoot anything on the Wood Elf roster and just get good value. So yeah, this is very good. I'm just taking out the Way Watchers now. My front line is buckling, but they will rally. And I managed to get my Paladins grouped up, and I'm going to be healing them because I need them to be alive to take out this hero squad. You know, a lot of people do have trouble against the hero squad. It's mainly because they ran out of answers against them. And if you know, what your win conditions are, my win conditions being my own hero squad and the archers here, yeah, you should be able to handle them. Now the Royal Pegasus Knights, they are getting dragged down. All these spears. I mean, Orion is no chump. He's actually been kind of overbuffed in this recent patch, which is why you see them a lot more often. But yeah, here I got a bit too blobbed up. Try to pull away, but you know, I got hit by the Soul Stealer, and this is going to be devastating against the Royal Pegasus Knights. I mean, it's just doing so much damage to my Cav, and it's gaining Ariel so much value. But yeah, right now the important thing is for me to just clean up. You know, I don't need to engage this hero blob, and a lot of people, they lose their games just because they keep on fighting the hero blob, when the best answer against this hero blob is just to win all the, just don't focus on the hero blob, win all the other peripheral engagements. I'm taking out these Way Watchers. You know, I'm kiting back with my archers because these guys are important. I mean, yeah, like they will still do well against the just single entities, even though they don't have the greatest of accuracies. But I mean, I'll feel a lot more comfortable if I still had range pressure on. I need to, micro these Cav units better, but you know, basically just win all the peripheral fights, just bog the hero squad down with just chaff. Just try not to let them gain as too much value, because they're gonna get value for sure. I mean, Orion and Ariel, they're gonna be a pain in the butt to deal with, but as long as I, keep my archers alive, I clean up the rest of these peripheral engagements, and all he has left is single entities, I should be able to cycle charge my way to victory. And yeah, so, I think I'm doing the correct thing here, just cleaning up the Wood Elf units on the flanks. I get a good charge out of these Eternal Guard, pull away, try and finish off these Way Watchers, but they rout, and yeah, all it's left is really just a few tattered infantry units, and then I'm the one kiting the Wood Elves because they don't have their range power anymore. I just need to regroup, and balance of power is in my favor, which which I'm happy with. But I could still throw this if Orion and Aereo managed to just tank too much damage, and I ran out of answers for them. Crabling is going really hard for my archers because he knows that they are very dangerous. But I managed to stabilize, right? I mean, I have the mobility, I have the range, I can do the kiting now. So I'll get a nice Earthblood here on the Grails, on the Paladin. And yeah, just gonna be cycle charging. Still have some units off in the distance, but they're not too important right now. It would be nice if they're in the main engagement here. Dryad's routes, and get a good charge. He wasn't braced. I began shooting Orion. Maybe I should have focused Ariel because she was lower, and she. But I mean, it's fine. I should have been maybe kiting a bit more. These Grail Knights took a big javelin. I think they lost like what the heck is that? Like, you lost 5 models from my javelin. And Orion's doing massive damage. And the Paladins get hit with the Tempest. I pop Charm Shield, Earthblood, and they reached their healing cap essentially. And we hit army losses, right? So all the Wood Elf units that's not unbreakable are routing, but because Ariel and Orion are unbreakable, they're going to make a last stand. And the balance of power still isn't completely, dead center yet. He gets a good Soul Stealer on these Knight Errants, but missed my Grails, which is nice. Because the Grails are going to be the main damage dealers, and they do a massive charge on Orion, as you can see. So Orion's taking a lot of damage, but he's going to pop a Cloak of Visha. He gets a good hit on the Fae. I managed to recharge him with double Paladins, who's been alive this entire game despite taking so much damage. And yeah, they're just, I don't know, they're just a bit too good for their cost, in my opinion. And it's really hard for Wood Elves to deal with them effectively. Like, you needed the Way Watcher focus fire. Yeah, so I'm just sending everything in now, just to try to figure out how to beat Orion. You just need to have enough burst damage at the end of the game to be able to deal with them. So I'm cycle charging with the Fae. Maybe I should even turn off fire at will because I might have been doing more damage to myself against than to Orion. But I mean, with 2 Paladins, with still some Grails left, yeah, with Fae cycle charging, this shouldn't be too much of an issue. And yeah, nice another rear charge, and yeah, there goes Orion. So a Pyrrhic victory. Bretonnia, even after this DLC, it's still, in my opinion, a very good answer to Wood Elves. He didn't go Zotes, which is also generally pretty good here, but yeah, he went with the kiting build, but with just Orion and Ariel. I mean, Ariel I can agree with, but Orion, I mean, he still did massive damage, right? The hero core, they definitely pay for themselves, and they just carried the game super hard. But the Cav, I mean, it's really hard to make Cav work against Bretonnia with the Grail and the Knights of the Lionhearted. I mean, their main job was to just kill these 2 units of cavalry, which they did. I mean, they didn't pay for themselves, and the Grail Knights, they did. They still took quite a bit of damage, but yeah, they were able to kill the Grail. I mean, kill the Wild Riders, which allowed this one unit of Knight Errant to just get massive value, cleaning up the Way Watchers. This unit of Knight Errant, the Defender of Fidelity, took so much damage from the Acorn of Ages. Man, that was surprising. But yeah, they really didn't pay for themselves much. Royal Pegasus, nice. They were MVPs. They came just in the nick of time to just, from the rear, managed to compromise the Way Watchers, you know, keep the hero squad pinned down, and allowed the rest of my army to getting good engagements overall. Peasants, they pay for themselves, like they usually do. I mean, they're quite overpowered, honestly. You get like, what, 5,000 HP for just 100 gold. Yeah, the men-at-arms, they pay for themselves. This one, the spear didn't, but this spear did. And the peasant bowmen, again, MVPs. I mean, easily paying for themselves. And yeah, so it was pretty hard-fought battle, but you know, despite the early advantage he got with the Tempest and the Way Watchers, he wasn't able to just kill the Paladins. And you know, with the Charm Shield, the Guardian, even the Shield of Thorns, you know, they managed to live through that, and as long as they were alive, I still had an answer to kill Orion. So in the final game against Crabling, so in the best of 3 final game, I had to choose 2 factions. So I went with High Elves and Empire, 2 very well-rounded factions. And Crabling went Warriors of Chaos. Now, arguably Empire is a better matchup against Chaos than High Elves, but I went for a risky play. Like, I kind of know the playstyle of Crabling's Chaos. He likes to bring Hell Cannon against many Elf faction, so I went with like a very hard counter build, and unfortunately, I made the wrong read, and yeah, so I went with the Lethanar because he will kill the Hell Cannon, and that would be like, you know, like 1,400, 1,500 gold down the drain immediately in my favor, but there is no Hell Cannon on Crabling's side, as you can see. I went, you know, pretty range heavy because I expected the 6 skirmish cav, a Hell Cannon build, maybe with a bunch of chaff like the Falcon's playstyle. I even brought Tempest because I was thinking he would bring like 2 units of Manticores, because that's how Chaos protect themselves from the sky along with the horsemen, but he didn't bring any air, so this was a waste of money. I still have Tempest, or I mean, I still have Soul Quench and Apotheosis, which could be useful. But yeah, I mean, the game starts off, and we're doing some initial skirmishing. I took a big javelin volley to the face, and you know, this is not looking good. I kind of overextended here. These hounds are faster than these Illyrian Reavers, so I mean, they're gonna catch up to them eventually. And I was like, okay, if I try to fire a volley, completely whiffed. So I was just like, okay, let's just charge in, and yeah. So this is already not looking good for me. I'm taking damage on my Flamespire Phoenix. Pop Apotheosis, which gives them fear, and did actually manage to break this unit of Chaos Warhounds. But it's not worth the damage. I mean, they cost what, 450, 475. I mean, it's not worth it. These Chaos Warhound overextends, gets routed, but I needed to do a lot more damage, and the engagement is already starting underway, which is I mean, these Shadow Warriors, man, they needed to kill all these horsemen, but they just couldn't get the opportunity, and these Chaos Knights are just already hot on my heel. Sartoriel's here. Shaggoth is going to be hard to deal with, but I do have the Keepers of the Flame, which is nice. I get a nice charge on these Demon Spew, but I need to pull out and let the White Lions deal damage. Yeah, so the Flamespire Phoenix gets a big hit on by the Dragon over Shaggoth, so he has to flee. I mean, I needed to send the Keepers there. And the Chaos Knights do get on top of the Shadow Warriors, which is not good at all. I did terror out this unit of Hounds, but he managed to catch my Illyrian Reavers. I mean, I'm pretty sure they lost their martial prowess, or about to lose their martial prowess, so this is not a great engagement. He's kiting away from the White Lions of Trace, but I'm bringing my unit of spearmen back. I do manage to rout these guys, but another big hit by the dragon overcheck is on the Flamespire Phoenix. I'm just not dealing enough damage. I have so much ammo left. Final transmutation is about to get casted, so I pull it away. It gets a bit of damage on my units, but I managed to avoid most of it, thankfully. But it's still gonna rout this unit of Flamespire Phoenix, as you can see. And the Forsaken, man, they're just gonna do so well against my lightly armored spearmen. I needed to get the White Lions in, pop the Moonbow, but like, you know, right now it's already looking really bleak. Chaos Rush is just, I mean, I didn't have the right build for this, and it was just a lot of it comes down to the build. Maybe it was a bit foolish of me, thinking that Crabling will bring Hell Cannon. I mean, like, almost all the games I've seen him play, he brings Hell Cannon, but I guess maybe this map just wasn't really great for Hell Cannon. I mean, the forest and the, you know, the narrow map maybe, but I'm not sure. Keepers of the Flame, they're still holding on, but, you know, it's only a matter of time. And all my other, you know, units are routing. Lethanar, he lost his martial prowess. He's gonna get charged by these Chaos Knights. I mean, there's not much I can do there. And these Illyrian Reavers, yes, they're trying to shoot the dragon over Shaggets, but it's not gonna work. So yeah, the unit of Soul Punch down, but now it's pissed off the dragon over, and it gets a good hit on the major high magic. Plague of Rust overcasted on Keepers of the Flame, and it's just allowing these Forsaken to just overwhelm them. And yeah, this is over. I mean, quickly just hits army losses, and man, a close defeat. Maybe this could have worked on a bigger map, but man, against the Chaos Rush, you know, Forsaken, I need to get a lot more damage on them with my archers. And you know, I don't think it was a completely lost cause, but the build really just threw me off, because I was expecting a Hell Cannon. This build was designed to beat, you know, something like a Falcon build that he had in the Everchosen, because it is just so popular against High Elves nowadays. And I just made the wrong read. I mean, Crabling had the right army, and yeah, good job to him. He advanced to the finals, where he actually did win the tournament. So I guess as for some sort of condolence, I did lose to the winner of the tournament, which, you know, I really wanted to qualify, but there's no shame losing to the winner, I guess. And GG's, man. Hopefully I can get him next time. So with that, this finishes my run at the Masters of Wood Elf tournament. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, see you next time.